Imagine a bond so powerful it defies nature itself, a lion and a leopard, natural enemies, becoming brothers, united by love. This is the incredible true story of Lena, a woman shattered by grief who found healing in the wild heart of an African sanctuary. One stormy day, she rescued a tiny shivering lion cub named Leo, abandoned by his pride. Days later, a fragile leopard cub, Dream, joined them, sparking an unbreakable connection. From a quiet sorrow, Lena built a family that rewrote the rules of the wild. Watch as these majestic animals, raised with tender care, turn playful chaos into a symphony of loyalty. But their journey faces a heart-stopping twist when danger strikes, testing their bond to the limit. Prepare for a tale of courage, compassion, and a rescue that will leave you in awe. If you're ready to witness love's greatest triumph, stay tuned. This story will capture your heart. Have you ever experienced a bond so deep it crossed species lines, showing that love has no limits? In a world often full of trouble and sadness, the most powerful healing can come from surprising places and unexpected hearts. This is the tale of Lena, a woman who discovered comfort, purpose, and a lasting family in the heart of the African wilderness. Lena arrived at the vast African wildlife sanctuary with a quiet sadness sticking to her like dirt from a long trip. The recent loss of a dear family member had left an empty space, a quietness that rang in her spirit. She didn't want to run from her grief, but to use it, to find purpose in a world that suddenly felt unsteady. The sanctuary, with its wild beauty and fragile animals, gave her a spark of hope, a chance to give her care and effort to something bigger than herself. She worked hard every day, fixing fences, helping with animal care, and checking the wide, untamed land. One stormy afternoon, as thunder rolled like far-off drums and lightning split the dark sky, Lena was on patrol. The rain poured down, turning known paths into muddy streams. Through the heavy rain, she saw him, a tiny, wet ball of fur, barely noticeable against the dark ground. It was a lion cub, just a few weeks old, crying and completely alone, its small body shaking uncontrollably. He was clearly lost, separated from his group by the storm's force or worse. With a motherly feeling, Lena carefully picked him up, protecting him from the weather with her own body. She named him Leo, a sign of the strength and toughness she hoped he would one day have. But fate seemed to have more surprises in store. Just days later, as the land slowly dried, Lena found another lost soul hidden under a thorny bush. Eyes wide with fear and sadness was a leopard cub, no bigger than her hand, its mother gone a sad victim of the wild. This tiny one, so delicate yet shining with a clear spirit, touched Lena's heart just as Leo had. She named her Dream for the hope and wonder she brought into Lena's life. Seeing the instant, almost magical connection between the unlikely pair, a lion and a leopard, natural enemies now finding peace together, Lena knew what to do. The sanctuary, despite its resources, couldn't give the close, constant care these two herd cubs needed. Driven by a strong wave of love and purpose, she made a deep decision. She would adopt them both. Leo and Dream became her constant companions, her reason, and her family. Their story, born from kindness, was just starting to grow. Picture a lion and a leopard, not as foes but as brothers, tied by a love stronger than nature. This was the amazing truth that grew in Lena's small, simple cabin at the heart of the African sanctuary. Leo, with his growing golden mane, and Dream, smooth and spotted, grew not just in size but in their endless love for each other and their human mother. Their days were a mix of playful energy and gentle moments. Mornings often started with Leo's soft purr, a surprising sound for a creature meant for power, as he woke Lena up. Dream, always sneaky, might be found on a high shelf or peeking from behind curtains, ready to jump on Leo in a playful attack. They wrestled on the old rug, tangled in a happy pile of paws and tails. Leo, despite being bigger, was patient with Dream's quick jumps and gentle bites. Dream, in turn, often led Leo into harmless fun, like trying to catch sunlight reflections on the walls. Lena spent many hours teaching them about safety, limits, and the special way of showing affection. She read to them in a calm voice, her hands brushing their fur, their heavy heads resting on her lap. They understood her tone, her movements, the depth of her care. It was a family that broke all natural rules, built by kindness and held by a strong bond. The other rangers, at first unsure, soon got used to seeing Lena walk through the reserve. With two grand felines trotting loyally beside her, their tails wagging like dogs. Their connection proved that love makes its own laws, crossing species and instincts. Life in the sanctuary, though mostly calm, had its quiet hints of danger. The wild always brought its own unpredictable tests. Little did they know, their biggest challenge was near. See how this amazing trio handled the difficulties of their wild home. Their perfect life, however, was about to face a test that would stretch their bonds to the limit. What happens when the one you guard becomes the one needing help? That question hung silently in the air as a lovely, normal morning in the sanctuary turned into a frightening nightmare. Lena, Leo, and Dream were on a regular patrol, enjoying the warm sun shining through the acacia trees. Leo, now a fine young lion, walked with a proud step, his strong body showing calm confidence. Dream, lean and quick, moved with quiet grace, his spotted coat blending with the light. Suddenly, without warning, a sharp burning pain hit Lena's chest. Her sight blurred, the bright greens and golds of the bush mixing into an unclear haze. She gasped, grabbing her chest, and stumbled. The ground came up fast as she fell, lying still among the tall grasses. Leo and Dream, always aware of her every move, instantly felt something was very wrong. Their playful mood disappeared, replaced by a deep, wild fear. They nudged her, whimpering, trying to get a reaction. Her stillness, her quietness, was strange and terrifying. Their sharp instincts, shaped by their special bond with Lena, kicked in. They didn't run or panic. Instead, their smart eyes looked around for a way to help. With a resolve that went beyond their wild nature, Leo let out a series of worried roars, deep and urgent sounds that spread across the plains. Dream, faster and more agile, dashed off a flash of spots against the savanna heading straight for the nearest ranger post, a place Lena often took them. He knew the way, guided by a natural sense that help was there. He barked and chirped wildly, circling the ranger's jeep until they, alerted by Leo's calls and Dream's frantic actions, understood the need. The rangers, knowing Lena's unique tie with her animals, quickly followed Dream. He led them steadily back to Lena, still unconscious. The sight was heartbreaking. The mighty lion Leo stood watch over his fallen human, his big head resting gently on her chest, a low, sad rumble coming from his throat. The medical team quickly checked Lena's condition, a serious heart attack, and stabilized her, rushing her into an emergency vehicle toward the nearest medical center. Lena was in good hands, but as the ambulance left, a new danger lurking. Outside the sanctuary's edges began to close in on Leo, discover the shocking event that threatened to break their family apart. But as Lena fought to live, a darkness fell over their world, risking the loss of one of her beloved companions forever. A bold escape, a risky trip, and a friendship that beats all odds. Just as Lena's condition started to improve at the medical center, a new frightening problem unfolded back at the sanctuary. The very night Lena was hospitalized, a well-known poaching group, famous for trading exotic animals, snuck into the reserve. They had heard rumors of a lion raised by hand, unafraid of people, and saw a chance for big profit. Under the night's cover, they targeted Leo. Despite his size, they managed to drug and catch him, planning to sell him to an illegal circus. Dream, however, avoided their traps. He had been hiding in the shadows, his sharp senses warning him of the intruders. He saw Leo's capture, the horror of it burning into his mind. His brother, his family, was being taken. While the poachers loaded the unconscious Leo into their changed truck, Dream, quick as a ghost, slipped away from the sanctuary. He wasn't running from fear. He was running to act. He knew with a strange certainty where help could be found. The Rangers, still shaken by Lena's medical emergency, were on high alert. Dream, driven by an almost human need, appeared at their post again, not with wild barks this time, but with urgent, steady growls and guiding moves, pulling at their uniforms and nudging them toward the main road. His actions were clear. He wasn't just upset, he was sending a message. The Rangers, realizing something terrible had happened, quickly prepared. They knew Dream's intelligence, knew his link with Leo, and followed his lead. They sped down the main supply road, a less used path the poachers might take to avoid checks, with Dream running beside their vehicle at an amazing speed. He led them surely, knowing a route only a wild creature would recognize. Suddenly, in the early dawn light, they saw a plane truck moving fast. Dream let out a victorious roar, rushing forward. The Rangers, with flashing lights and sirens, moved in. A tense standoff followed, but the poachers, surprised and facing armed Rangers, soon gave up. Inside the truck's back, still drugged but breathing, was Leo.